Long ago, in a quiet African village surrounded by tall palm trees and wide green farms, there lived a young girl named Amara. Amara was an orphan. She had lost both of her parents when she was still very young. Since then, life had been difficult for her. While other children woke up slowly and played in the mornings, Amara was already working before the sun even rose. Every day, she swept the dusty compound and prepared for another long day of chores. Amara lived with her aunt, Mama Kemi. Sadly, Mama Kemi was not a kind woman. Instead of caring for Amara like her own child, she treated her more like a servant. She was always shouting, always finding something to complain about. No matter how hard Amara worked, it was never enough. But Amara stayed quiet. She believed that one day, life would change if she kept her heart kind. Every morning, Amara walked a long distance to the river to fetch water for the house. The clay pots were heavy, and the road was dusty. Sometimes she saw other girls laughing and chatting along the way. They carried water too, but they also shared jokes and stories. Amara often walked quietly, listening from a distance. Even though her life was hard, she still greeted everyone with a warm smile. One afternoon, Mama Kemi sent Amara to the busy village market to sell vegetables. The market was filled with noise and color. Traders shouted prices while buyers moved from stall to stall. Baskets of fruits, spices, and fabrics covered the tables. Amara carefully arranged the vegetables and waited patiently for customers. By evening, she had sold most of them and was preparing to return home. Just as she was about to leave, Amara noticed a young traveler sitting near a tree. His clothes were dusty and torn, and he looked very tired. He quietly asked people for help, but no one stopped. Amara felt sorry for him. Even though she did not have much money, she used some of it to buy him food. The young man looked surprised. With gratitude in his eyes, he introduced himself. His name was Tony. As the sun began to set, Amara started walking home through the quiet forest road. The trees were tall and the path was empty. Suddenly, 3 rough men stepped out of the bushes and blocked her way. They demanded her money and vegetables. Amara's heart began to race with fear. She did not know what to do, and there was no one nearby to help her. Just when the thieves moved closer, a strong voice shouted from behind them. It was Tony. Without hesitation, he stepped forward and bravely confronted the robbers. A quick fight followed, and soon the thieves ran away into the forest. Amara stood there in shock. The quiet traveler she had helped earlier had just saved her life. After the robbers ran away, Tony walked beside Amara to make sure she reached home safely. The moonlight lit the forest path as they slowly walked together. Along the way, they talked about simple things like village life, childhood memories, and dreams for the future. For the first time in many years, Amara felt relaxed and safe. But when Amara arrived home late, Mama Kemi was waiting for her. Instead of asking what happened, she immediately began shouting. She accused Amara of wasting time and being lazy. Amara tried to explain about the thieves, but Mama Kemi refused to listen. That night, Amara quietly went to sleep, hoping tomorrow would be better. The next morning, Amara returned to the river as usual. There, she met Tony again. They sat near the water and talked for a long time. Tony listened carefully as Amara shared her struggles. He admired her strength and kindness. Slowly, a warm friendship began to grow between them. One day, the peaceful village became very busy. Royal guards arrived on horses, wearing bright uniforms and carrying spears. They asked the villagers many questions. They were searching for a man named Tony who had disappeared from the palace some weeks earlier. Suddenly, Tony stepped forward from the crowd. But this time, something was different. The guards bowed respectfully and addressed him as Your Highness. The villagers gasped in shock. The poor traveler was not poor at all. He was Prince Tony, the son of the king. Amara stood frozen. She could hardly believe what she was seeing. The entire village began whispering. Some people were amazed, while others felt embarrassed that they had ignored the prince when he looked poor. But Prince Tony did not care about any of that. His attention was on Amara. Later, by the river where they first became friends, Prince Tony spoke honestly with Amara. He told her he had disguised himself to learn about the lives of ordinary people. He said the kindness she showed him was something he would never forget. Soon, the royal guards made an announcement in the village square. Prince Tony would return to the palace the next day. To everyone's surprise, he invited Amara to come with him. The next morning, villagers gathered to watch as Amara left the village beside Prince Tony. Many could not believe their eyes. The quiet orphan girl was now riding toward the royal palace. After many hours of traveling, the palace appeared in the distance. Its tall golden gates and shining towers made Amara's eyes widen with amazement. Guards stood proudly at the entrance. Inside the throne room, Prince Tony bowed before his father, the king. Then he introduced Amara and shocked everyone by announcing that he wished to marry her. The king agreed to consider the idea, but he wanted to test Amara's character first. The first test was humility. Amara spent the day working in the palace kitchen, helping cooks prepare meals for hundreds of people. Later, she helped the palace gardeners plant flowers and water the beautiful gardens. Even though she was in a palace, she worked just as hard as she had in her village. At the end of the day, the king heard many good reports. The workers said Amara was humble, respectful, and hardworking. The king nodded with approval. She had passed the first test. The next test took place in the royal court. Two women were arguing over a small child. Both claimed to be the child's mother. Amara thought carefully and created a test to reveal the truth. She asked the women to pull a cloth tied around the child. When the child began crying, one woman stopped immediately. She said she would rather lose the child than see him hurt. Amara knew instantly that she was the true mother. The court was amazed by her wisdom. For the final test, the king took Amara to a nearby village suffering from drought. Crops had failed, and the villagers were hungry. Amara suggested helping the villagers restart their farms by giving them seeds and tools. But she also removed her gold bracelet and offered it to buy food for them immediately. Seeing her compassion and leadership, the king smiled proudly. He announced that Amara had passed all 3 tests. Soon, the palace prepared for a grand celebration. Prince Tony married Amara in a joyful royal wedding. The orphan girl with a kind heart became the future queen, loved by the entire kingdom. And from that day forward, her kindness changed many lives.